8th. I declare we have a quorum present. And we'll move directly to the first item, public comment or public and commissioners' comments. Any commissioner comments? Yes.
I met Walter and his son at the college cemetery this morning. We walked around, we looked at things, discussed matters. And I told him that Charlie and I would sort of talk about some, and he plans to submit an invoice for the work he's done very soon.
Yep.
But as we go forward and plan the next one, I said, you and I would be in communication.
Sure.
Fran, I heard you, but which cemetery? That I didn't get.
Okay, I met Charlie and his son in the college cemetery.
Okay,
He talked about that, but he also said he had paid a visit earlier today to Newtown Cemetery to scope out what it's like and what we will need when we eventually apply for funds to do that one. Okay?
Yep, and I talked to Walter also, and that's when they came out to look at Newtown New North about removing the metal bars
Yes.
around the family plots as we discussed last meeting.
Right.
So he was gonna take a look at all that
Mhm.
and get me a number so we know what we're
Excellent.
working with.
And the other thing, we should probably write it into the record, is that Barbara and I received full funding for creating a 20-minute video about the Stark College Cemetery.
Excellent. Yeah.
And we need Charlie to talk with you about how to go about
Yeah.
hiring a videographer.
Can we maybe meet with you separately so that,
Sure.
because today with town meeting, we're gonna be short on time, but maybe the three of us could sit down.
Great.
I mean, I have someone who wants to bid on it, but I said, I don't know how. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll have to talk to Vince, just, they've awarded the funds, but I don't know where they are yet. So until they land in an account.
Right, so if you could make a note that.
Oh, yeah, I've got it in there.
Three of us.
Yeah.
could meet.
We probably have to move fast because summer's coming up and videographers are much in demand for
Right.
weddings and stuff.
Yep.
So,
Great, thank you, Charlie.
Okay, next item is the approval of minutes from our meeting of April 10th. Anyone notice any errors, omissions, or anything?
On the beginning,
I read them and I have nothing to add or change.
I'll move to approve them.
Okay,
I'll second it.
Scotty moves approval of the minutes and Barbara second. All in favor? We have to roll call. Fran,
I,
Barbara, Scotty,
Aye.
Lee,
aye.
and chair votes aye. So those minutes are approved. Monument restoration.
Not sales.
what?
Do you not have a printout?
Oh,
I might have the old agenda.
lot sales since last meeting. There have been no lot sales, although I've had a couple of inquiries again, usually email. So what I do when I get an email inquiry about a lot at Opus, most of if they're emailing me, they aren't on island normally.
So you suggest those things.
Yeah.
And then we can do-
So what I do is I explain, what we have available, and I tell them when they get on island, come on down and we'll check out this. Okay. Monument restoration project.
Alan, I
Yes,
think this might be a good place to deal with Tracy McDonald's applications. Unless you intend to do it somewhere else on the agenda.
oh, I'm sorry, thank you for reminding me of that. The Tracy, is it McDonald?
Yes.
Tracy McDonald, who is the one who's taken over from Ken Bogray, as far as helping us out.
She's on.
Are she on?
She-
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
There you
There
are.
go.
Greetings. So,
I'm very tired from last night.
Tracy, contacted me earlier, I guess it was last week, uh, about, doing an inurnment for Willie, not for Willie House. Oh, is it for Willie or is it for?
No, it's for my grandfather, Seaweed, Robert Reed.
Right, Robert, right. On March, or no, on May 20th, correct?
We were trying to do it on the 26th,
Oh.
which is his birthday and would be his 100th birthday.
Right. And did you get the forms from Takara here?
I did the forms and I have emailed them, I think, very late this afternoon, but I did complete them from both the monument company and myself.
So we have an application for inurnment. This is at Newtown Cemetery. And we also have a monument approval form. Now this is Newtown Cemetery, so we can be pretty loose as far as the monument. I looked at the monument, the photograph of the monument, and there was nothing offensive or anything like that. And so
I know you appreciate this, Fran.
I would entertain a motion to approve. This is,
Don't we usually have a picture?
Well, that's Newtown, it's not Opus. So as Alan said, we have a lot more latitude.
We do, I understand that. We
Yeah.
usually have a
I
picture.
do. I did submit a photo a couple weeks ago, I think, or a week ago.
You can show it to us.
I can find.
I don't know how to share.
So we usually have it.
It's so funny because I'm on my work computer, so I don't think I have it on this one, but you know what I can do is share the form and there's a sketch. Hold on. How do I do this? Documents.
It doesn't matter, I didn't want to throw my
And I-
monkey wrench into the works.
Can you
I'm
push
okay
the
with,
search fund
I'm okay with
and
doing
ask
it
for
without it.
monument?
It's very unique. It says Captain Seaweed and then it has his name underneath it. And then the dates of his birth and death. And then it has a sort of a sketch of his old boat, which he called Le Boite, sunken in eelgrass because he used to always run it aground with a little box behind it, which is a nod to the chicken box.
Oh, what?
My uncle, Alan. Reed,
Alan and Tracy, if
designed it.
you'll allow me to share my screen, I'll show it to you.
Oh, sure.
Okay, great. Oh, that's great. Thank you, Lee, because I don't know how to do that.
Any idea why? I think it should be one of those.
There
Now,
it is.
Tracy
Oh,
also
that's
sent a
wonderful.
photograph,
Oh,
Thank you for showing us that.
but this is what came up first.
Yeah, so that's the application and
wonderful.
it looks even better in the actual carving. So
We
it's,
can get that too. Hang on, everybody. And
That's
now
good.
we will.
Hopefully, I think.
That's fine.
Oh, there we go. Now, how did you do that?
It took a while.
Just one more second.
So should we just take a vote? Do we have to do separate ones on the inurnment and the monument, or do we just have one vote for everything?
We can do one vote for both,
Good, well, it's,
for,
I move that we, approve the inurnment on May 26th and the monument that will be installed.
A second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
No.
I'll go roll call. Scotty?
Aye.
Barbara?
I,
Lee?
Aye,
Fran? And chair votes aye. So that is approved.
okay, Fran moved, who seconded?
Barbara,
Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you, everybody.
Right, so you can go ahead with your plans, Tracy, for the inurnment on the 26th. And
Okay,
what we'll do, the DPW will dig the pit. or
okay,
the it's an appropriate word for it. We'll dig
They,
the-
they will open the ground.
we will open the ground, right? The DPW will.
okay,
Normally we do it the day before, and what we do, we'll dig the hole, we have a piece of
Turf, artificial
yeah,
turf.
artificial turf, and we'll pile the dirt from the hole on the turf. And then when you can show up whenever you want for the service, and then the DPW will come in after the service. That's where we get the times and everything on that, the form that you.
okay. Yeah, and I just would like to meet somebody there ahead just to see the exact spot.
Right. So, we'll take care of closing the grave. And, then the monument can be set once the grave is refilled. And that should do it.
Okay, great, thank you.
thank you, Tracy.
Now I'll stay on in my other role.
Now monument restoration? Or do we have any
Right.
other business for Tracy that we
Yeah,
should
exactly.
take care of? Do we have other business for Tracy before so she doesn't have to stay for the whole time?
The new town business.
I don't think, yeah, I'll just monitor the Newtown discussion.
Anything on all this?
Yeah. Do you have anything to report, Tracy?
So sort of, with respect to the Pulpus, I have sort of put out there the idea of a license agreement, and they want to know what form that would take, and I just haven't had time to get with town council about that, and the language that surrounds the timeline of the license. Typically when we do licenses, we don't put them necessarily in perpetuity. In other words, they would be till the problem can be resolved. So if the building ever sort of demolished or something like that, when they reconstruct it, if they do, then the encroachment would be removed at that time. And I have sort of put that out there as a proposal. So if it's 10 years down the line and the building's dilapidated and falling down and they have to rebuild it, then they would get it over that 1 point, whatever it is, foot over the encroachment. They'd fix it.
It's been a very frustrating process because we've been working on this for years. I mean, literally.
I know.
Years.
And the building actually is so dilapidated that if they just stalled long enough, it would probably fall down.
Which might happen, that might end up happening. And then, like I said, then they would be responsible for correcting it and then the license would terminate. So if it was a larger encroachment, it wouldn't be as probably, it's just such a small one that it can be fixed. Eventually the problem is that building is so old that it's really, like I said before, it's like pre-existing. And so you can't force them to tear it down, but you can say, okay, in the interim, we'll give you permission, but when eventually when it does come down, we want it out of there.
Okay, well, that would solve the problem, and we wouldn't have to bother with any sort of a land swap, which,
Alan, for the record, if we take this path, it implies that we're abandoning the land swap. It also implies that we have not the requirement, but the ability, should we choose, to develop the cemetery up to the fence line.
right.
Right.
Now, there is a setback issue because it's in 3-acre zoning out there and so on. But my understanding from Rick Bodett is that because the property was created so many years ago, that was pre-zoning. So,
It was, yeah,
so
yeah.
the setback, probably, that wouldn't necessarily apply to it. So, Lee is correct in assuming that by going this route, we'll give up whatever, land swap. One of the questions I have is we've had surveyors out there. I know, I've met with a surveyor probably half a dozen times, if not more, out there on the lot, and I'm wondering who paid for all that, the surveyor time. I don't know if that's
Was
a
this back
question,
with Rob McNeil, Neil days,
back when.
when Rob McNeil was in DPW?
Yes, yeah,
Because I imagine they absorbed
Even more recently, we've been out doing the survey,
yeah, right,
yeah.
so
But it doesn't seem as if
that's, yeah,
it's been charged to our cemetery commission.
as long as it hasn't been charged to the cemetery. Right.
Alan, not to
Yes.
be too facetious about all this, but I suggest that's why we have a cemetery administrator who will deal with the bills.
Okay.
I see,
I will say, like, I think I did see an invoice submitted recently. But we haven't done anything with it. Who was their survey? Was it,
it was,
Who was the surveyor?
who,
Who
I
was it?
forget,
oh,
Most recently.
was it Leo?
It was
Lee.
Leo, but
Yeah.
the bill would come from his company, which I think is Blackwell.
Yeah. So, and then the other thing we go back to too is that her property is land court, so that makes the swap extremely difficult. Just to keep that in your thoughts with it is, she could still say she wanted to swap and go into that process, which is a
Well-
long but she'd have to agree to that original plan that you guys wanted her to agree to.
but they have been the ones that have been dragging their feet for all these years. They initially, she came to us and said, mentioned something about the encroachment and could we do a switch and, that sort of thing. So anyway, I'm just as happy that we're out of that, because we
Yeah.
have spent so many hours discussing.
I agree. I think this is just the path of least resistance and it's
Yeah.
probably a good idea.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy.
You're welcome.
And now we're down with Tracy. She doesn't have to stay on unless she wants to.
Well,
right?
what about the question, is Tracy also helping us with Newtown?
So Newtown's a little bit more complicated. And I have had, I had some discussions with Andrew Vorse, but I haven't been able to circle back to it. I also had a brief discussion with town council about it. So there's a process there and I have to get the procedure down and then figure out what the town or the select board wants to do. And that might mean that you might have to make a proposal to the select board. But
Tracy,
yeah,
in 2018, we wrote specifically with a proposal we've never had a written response. But
Yeah.
I think I may have given you a copy of that memo. If not, I can do it again.
Because it would be a different board now, so,
Oh, no, the memo went,
it's all the same?
the memo went to the board via Erica Mooney and town manager.
Okay,
Yeah, and that was couple of years ago as well.
2018, I think.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it's an excellent memo because it really outlines what it is that we were looking for. We were very specific. It was addressed to Libby and I believe the select board.
You know, and Lee, to make it easier, why not just send Tracy a copy?
Oh, I
yeah,
have.
send me
I've already-
send
I've
me a
already-
copy and I'll see if I can, at least get it into the select board somehow, either by agenda or some other way.
Well, I have a not so subtle way, Tracy. June 5th, I appear to express my interest for re-upping to the cemetery commission. And particularly if nobody else applies, somebody will say, well, you know, you don't have to be here. And I'll say, oh, yes, I do.
I love it.
I'm not going to leave the cemetery commission until we have Newtown designated officially as a cemetery.
I love it. We should all go to be with him.
Yeah, great.
All right,
Okay,
all right.
anything else on that item? Seeing none. Tracy, thank you so much.
Thanks,
All
Tracy.
right, thank you. I'll see everybody tonight, maybe.
I'll be there.
So we knocked off Newtown?
Yeah, but no, do we
Now
have
we're up to
anything
4.
more back with item 4?
Monument restoration.
Walter is there already
He's there.
to look at it. He was there actually, a couple of weeks ago when Barbara and I were up there.
Yeah, and he
He
just
did
came
that.
We met
back.
with Fran this morning.
Yeah,
He had located the one stone in the colored cemetery that hadn't gotten treated before, and he's treated it. He had noticed the little headstones right up in the corner of the Quaker Cemetery by the intersection of Quaker Road and
Yes.
back, which they hadn't noticed
They had,
before, and they've now treated them.
Yeah.
And they said that even though the newly treated things may not look that clean with the process of a little time, they're going to look fine. So that was it's nice that he noticed things that had been skipped before.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and my impression is he's sort of going the extra 5 yards for us on a number of things. So that's really very encouraging.
Great.
It's always great to find a contractor like that who's
Yeah.
gonna go, you know,
I have to say, you know, I feel so encouraged between having Charlie and Walter that we're getting more things
We're
done
getting
this
things
year than
done.
we've
Yeah.
Right.
done in a long time. I just want to tell you, I really appreciate that.
I believe the CPC funds get approved last night, or are they still up for the,
No, they come up tonight, I think.
Yeah,
did
now,
somebody call
that I couldn't tell you.
it? Honestly, I didn't.
I don't know. My court copy of the warrant is in the car with the ones that you pulled. I can't tell you. But, okay,
I thought the CPA grants weren't done until September for some reason.
well, their deadline.
They're applied, but they go through town meeting for the final approval, correct?
Oh, I see. Yeah, Lee?
Yeah, here's a report from the very lengthy town meeting last night. Warrant Article 34, which was the CPC grant, was not called and therefore was approved in the consent agenda that occurred somewhere around 6 p.m. yesterday evening.
God, I feel like it was.
Good.
But we don't know which applications were approved, as I understand it.
No, there's $150,000 in their budget
Right.
for cemetery.
Well,
If you go to the warrant article, it's on page 41.
Okay, so, but to see if we actually were
We can
granted,
look it up, yeah.
we'll have to, I don't know.
Well, no, he said it's on page 41, so we should.
Yeah. Now, to be formal about it, CPC will have to notify us about our application, but they now have the funds to approve should they choose to do so.
Right.
So anyway, that's a work in progress, and once we get that
Good
done,
news.
we move on to Newtown and New North and
Right,
check, and we'll have those
So
cemeteries all.
the layout of the new lots, you said you haven't actually gotten to, is that
Yeah, we did
the
that.
homework you haven't
Yeah.
done yet?
We aim to do this.
We'll get to those.
Yeah.
all right.
Soon.
Be kind
Okay,
to yourself.
that's it for Newtown. Help us, update,
We just
we
Just
have
do it.
that also, excellent. And that brings us to old, new, other business.
I just have another comment. When I got a different agenda today, right, this one I printed when we got it first. Whatever document the town uses, and I couldn't print it or open it. So I don't know.
The one that Alan sent this morning.
One that we got sent
Well,
this
I
morning.
got-
I couldn't open that either.
We got multiple messages from Alan saying, here it is, then can't open it, and then here it is again. Eventually,
I tried it. I mean, I had printed this when it came
Yeah,
a while ago,
this is,
but I could
that's what
not
I'm
open the
working.
new one, so I just wanted to say, I couldn't open it. So if the minutes come that way, I won't be able to see them, so.
Well, the issue is with my computer.
Great. That'll be
And-
great.
But I think Ray will send us the minutes directly.
Yeah, we'll get the minutes correctly. So, yes, Lee?
I do have one item. I sent it out an hour or so ago. I've looked up the regulations for the size of the plot, and it says 4 by 10. If Scott would like to make a motion to amend that, I'll happily second it.
I'll move to amend the grade minimum from 4 feet 10 inches, no, 4 feet by 10 feet to 4 feet by 8 feet. That is my motion.
I second your motion.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. These are for the potential new lots at Newtown Cemetery, correct?
Right. What we're what we're going to do, what I'm suggesting that we do when this passes, if it passes, which we think it will pass, is I submit it to Erica as a request to amend and a recognition that it may take a public hearing at the select board. But with our vote, we can shift it upstream to town manager and the select board.
Okay, so we'll take a vote. Fran,
Aye.
Barbara,
I,
Scotty,
Aye.
and chair votes aye, and Lee.
Aye.
Unanimous. Great. So once we get Newtown cleared, we'll have one of the first things we'll do there is lay out some new lots.
but ground penetrating radar has to be completed in new spots.
Correct.
It's gonna be a lengthy process.
It's gonna be a process, yeah, because there's a lot of vegetation, as we noticed.
How are we the commission that
Oh.
achieves?
That brings me to something. When I was meeting with Walter, I noticed that there were 2 graves with bushes rather aggressively growing on them. One is in the enclosure where I think it's the Coopers, and there's a bush right up against, and then there's another one, and those bushes need to get whacked back.
Which cemetery?
Historic Colored Cemetery. They're just bursting into their spring foliage, and so you notice them.
What, like, removed or from back?
Well, I think if we just cut them off at the base and then they come up again, we cut them off at the base and eventually they'll give up.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I want to congratulate Barbara for
Me.
her part in us getting this
You did
lovely,
most- you did the
lovely
heavy
grant.
lifting.
No, we both did.
That's
And
right.
it's Barbara's good idea that we will have members of the community representing the different monuments. And she's got a really good idea about who to ask. And it was her idea entirely. And I think that that was what sold the proposal. And we have agreed very soon, we're each going to write the first sample script. I don't.
See if we're on the same page.
Yeah, so I think you're going to talk about Eunice and
Ross's,
Sarah
yeah.
Ross,
Yeah.
and I'm going to do the Barber family, just as our first sample scripts.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well done. It's good to see something like that happening.
Yeah.
It's a-
Yeah.
Quite a lot of efficiency.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
We haven't got the videographer yet. That's gonna be key to everything.
It is.
Before we go any further, I want to back up. Fran, you were talking about some volunteer bushes. Now, was that in the historic colored cemetery? And did I
Yeah.
hear you say near the Cooper lot?
One of the bushes was near the Cooper lot,
Yeah.
in the Cooper lot.
Right, growing right onto the corner of the stone. But anyway, because right now, all the new foliage is coming out, that one and the other bush that's impinging on a headstone are very visible, and it's very easy to go in and see them and chop them off. That's the sort of thing Alan would do.
I'm taking a group of kids probably up to the meeting house from the cemetery from the Lighthouse School. I've been doing a lecture once a week. I've done two, I'm doing two now. It's so much fun with your fifth graders. I miss teaching, and this is just great.
Right. I did notice that there was a flag on the flagpole at Newtown.
Oh, yes, that was so gratifying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Another.
another.
Another chunk.
Next meeting ever.
And I'm sure that's very gratifying to our veterans organization.
Yeah.
Right.
Memorial Day's coming.
I believe the cemetery's got their first lawn cut this week as well.
Yeah, I know, it was so beautiful in the College Cemetery this morning, it was perfect. And, we were worried about the daffodils coming back. Not many in the cemetery, but in the walk going to it,
Yeah.
it was very good,
Nice.
yeah. We have to go to town meeting.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, is there anything else to come before the commission this afternoon? Let me just comment that I'm really amazed at the progress that we've made, looking back now at where we are with the cemeteries, where they were when we started and all that sort of thing. So I think we're on a roll. And once we get Opus squared away, and it sounds like we're that close to being done with that one. And once we get Newtown squared away, and then the last two cemeteries, Newtown and New North, we'll get those monuments squared away. And we should be in
We
excellent.
won't know what to talk about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, I'm sure that
Fran
was,
did a nice thing for us to start with next month.
oh, right, that's
Or
right.
look at it and see
You know,
what.
this was a memo from 2015 that I found on my desktop, and I just printed it out. I think it's,
For you.
so that we can go through it and see what we've accomplished now, and,
You sent one to Lee.
I do have that.
Yeah.
but I think it's a balance.
Thanks. Don't worry about that. So our next meeting is June.
June 12th. June 12th.
And not to be a stickler, you're gonna call it you're gonna call it. the Meeting adjourned. The meeting
Meeting
adjourned.
adjourned.
You're gonna call the meeting adjourned.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yes, right. So I declare we are at the end of our agenda and the meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
We'll see you at the town meeting tonight.
Oh, I've got a 4 o'clock training session, then town meeting. By the way, I can see through the window that you've got a couple of 2-legged thingy-wats strutting